We're back another Tuesday night. We're going to talk a little LeBron James to the Sixers. Just a short commute from Manhattan. JJ Redick did it for a few years. We'll talk about that. It's the middle of the baseball season. We got the trade deadline less than a week away. We'll delve into that. John's O's are going nowhere. My Yankees are going to be in the playoffs and not win anything. Cubs are almost 15 games over 500 if they finish off the win tonight. They're up big already in the second inning. The Dodgers, can anybody beat them? We'll talk some baseball. But before we do that, we're going to have Rob Thorson here. He's putting on an event at Sacred Heart University on July 30th called the Shoulder Check Showcase. And we'll talk to him about that and what it's about. There'll be 30 current NHL players at Sacred Heart University. It'll be covered by the NHL Network. But we'll talk to Rob and let him tell us all about that. Let's bring in John first to get the show started. John Shear.
Hey, what's going on, JB?
Just living the dream. It's Tuesday night, where the public needs me to be, kind of like you. And we're about to break down the commute from New York City to Philadelphia and what it's like to travel that hour and 45 minutes by helicopter in about 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, and just speaking on the Shoulder Check Showcase, we're, here at Sideline Sports, we're big proponents of mental health, and we've done a lot in our time together, JB, helping philanthropic. I can't say it.
Philanthropic?
Yeah, I can't say it. I'm trying to say it. I'm trying to say it like make it sound cool, but like we've done a lot in that regard, and it matters a lot to us. So the fact that we get to talk tonight about Shoulder Check Showcase and what it means to everybody involved is just a really cool thing to do. It's quite an honor for Sideline Sports to be involved in this interview. So we're excited about this, and we hope you guys are excited about it too, because this is going to be one of the best interviews we've ever had.
Yeah, I agree. Let's not waste any time. Let's bring Rob in and let's find out more about the Shoulder Check Showcase. How you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thanks, gents. Appreciate you having given me the chance to join you here tonight.
I love the hat.
Honored.
The hat and the glasses are really cool. I like it.
It's a nice look, right? It's stylish for sure.
So yeah. I do what I can. And this is a big night for me, so I try to put my best foot forward.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking the time. Again, thank you for the invite on July 30th. The Shoulder Check Showcase. Tell us, what made you guys start the showcase and a little bit more about it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like I said, I appreciate the chance to come on here, tell you guys about it, share it with your listeners and followers. So the Shoulder Check, ultimately, our main message is reach out, check in, make contact. And we're all about, if I had to kind of the one sentence version of it, is we might not always know who needs a hand, but we all have a hand to give. So we're just trying to create space for people to kind of lean in, feel community, feel supported, and be a part of something. It comes from personal tragedy. My son, Hayden Thorson, died by suicide when he was 16 years old in May of 2022. And, when he passed, obviously the entire world turned upside down on us and then some. But we had a moment to kind of think, what do we do? What are we going to do? And the answer came to us in a question that a lot of people asked when Hayden's passed. They all asked, who's going to do what he did now that he's gone? And it only took a quick minute to realize what they meant by that was like Hayden was the check-in guy. He was the guy who put hands on shoulders. He was the guy who noticed when someone was feeling down. He was the guy in the locker room who could feel the tension and tried to help relieve it, and, obviously that's something he was trying to put more of into the world. So when we thought about it, people asked that question, we realized we all can. We can all do what Hayden's doing. We're all qualified to be a friend. We're all qualified to just be there for someone. So that kind of started the idea. And then, we're really lucky that Hayden had an incredible, he was a hockey player. Obviously, that's how it got started in that world. The hockey community got around this right from day one. My background is not in a nonprofit. I'm like an advertising guy. So it was my wife. So all our professional people came out and they're like, we want to be involved. And then like really organically, this idea of the shoulder check, which is about putting hands on shoulders, came together from our profession, our professional support, and the hockey world came out and they're like, we got to do a game for this. And just like that, we launched it in August of 2023 with 30 plus NHL guys, and we just keep building it every year. And it's got grassroots component to it. It's got touch points all across the country now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I've noticed about the hockey community. You look at some of the guys that have passed, Johnny Gaudreau,
Yeah.
and just the way that they rally around each other. It seems other sports do it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, in football, we see a lot of, unfortunately, older former players that commit suicide, and you hear a lot of talk. But it seems like in hockey, the players go that extra step. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've thought about that quite a bit because obviously, like we are me personally, right, the beneficiary of everybody in the hockey community just kind of leaning in and supporting. And like I said, my son was a pretty avid player, and he was on his path, right? And I don't know how far he would have taken it, but I think he certainly would have played in college. That level player is a good player. But I think the thing I observed along the way when you're in the game, right? Everybody's always very close around the game. Got to spend a lot of time then and even now with guys who made careers of it. And I think what you have is just a recognition of how much sacrifice it takes to be a professional hockey player, right? Like huge dollars, right? Huge cost, huge travel. It's not as easy as heading out into the backyard, right? Like it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money, takes a lot of skills training, right? You're not even on your own feet, you're on skates. Like it's not a natural thing. So even just kind of the training that goes into it is different. And I think everybody kind of recognizes that of themselves. Like there's no player, I don't think, in the league or even competing at any level who wouldn't acknowledge how many people around them helped kind of get them where they were. I think that's really palpable in the hockey world. And I think that's why, whether it's opportunities to contribute to something positive like this, that of course is rooted in tragedy, but like guys are ready, and girls too, right? PWHL squads as well. They're all ready to lean in, and it's pretty amazing.
Now,
Can you?
Yeah, John.
I'm sorry. Can you talk about what it means for your event? Sorry, JB. To be on the NHL Network nationwide for the first time. Can you talk about what that means to you?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge opportunity. The joke that we had for ourselves this year is like it was like a big glow up for us. One of the team members called it that because like we started this in a youth hockey rink. So I'm in Connecticut. We started in Stamford, Connecticut, a place called Terry Collins Rink, or Terry Collins. Uh, Terry Connors Rink in Stamford. It's in Cove Island Park. It's got it's just a youth rink in a parking lot, and we launched it there, and it's awesome because it's like a youth rink that a lot of the guys that are in our game played in at when they were kids. But as such, like it's still youth hockey locker rooms and youth hockey benches, and we're lucky we could fit 2,000 people in there, so that was great. But now here we are in year four. We've managed to take the game up to Sacred Heart University. They get the Martiri Family Arena. It's the newest D1 building in the country. It's like a state of the art building. And while that was happening, the NHL Network has been a huge supporter for us from day one. And we just kind of had the question like, hey, do you think this could make for a good piece of content, good TV? And they're like, it'd be great summer content. And because this building now is like wired for broadcast, like they've leaned in, and Brian Boyle, Corey Schneider, and EJ Raddick are going to come and they're going to cover the game live. And yeah, to your
Wow.
point, like now we'll hopefully have a national audience that gets to see just the how powerful this simple message is, and hopefully that inspires a whole lot more people to take it forward in a grassroots way, and even failing that, just like take the main message, right? Like check on somebody.
Yeah, it's so important. We had the opportunity to be part of an organization for a little while before it folded, and its main goal was middle-aged men's mental health because it's one of the leaders in suicide rates.
Mhm.
And it's so crazy to think that, unfortunately, people sometimes feel that they don't have anywhere to go. And we've always said on this show, if you're watching and you ever feel that way, reach out to us. We don't ever
Yeah.
want to see somebody go through that. And we get that there's so many things in the world, and nobody knows what's happening in somebody else's life. So I can definitely, appreciate the fact that you turned probably one of the hardest situation you'll probably ever deal with in your life into one of the most positive things you can do with it. I have a lot of respect for.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
you're welcome. And I mean, sorry for your loss. Now, when you first started this, right? How did you go about, creating the whole game, and who'd you contact first? I mean, to have that happen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so this is the, I mean, this is the honest truth about it, and this is what's amazing, and it still continues to happen this way. Is I'm not sure we've ever really had to ask anyone, like since this started. Like it just each kind of conversation leads to the next. So kind of the way it happened was like I was saying, I spent a little time thinking on my side, like we wanted to do something. Then I had this experience where I was working with this organization that was like a national mental health organization. They have chapters all around the country. Just coincidentally, in my professional life, I said to this person, I was like, I really we're compelled to contribute to do something. And the person said to me, um, said that you need to leave this to the professionals. And I was like, like it was pretty damning. It hit hard. I was like, wow, I'm not a professional. I'm not a mental health practitioner. I couldn't identify a moment of crisis in my own home. And then I kind of took a step back and I was like, but I am a professional, just of another ilk, right? Like I do advertising. So that's what we started to think about that, right? I just drew this little sketch and it said I could use a hand. I have a hand to give. That was all I had. And then we went to our agency friends and they were like, we want to work on this. Let us do this. So they on their own, that's where Shoulder Check came from, the idea. So those guys were working over on that side. And at the same time, in the hockey world, two amazing things happened. So my son used to train at a gym. It's called Prentice Performance. It's in Stanford. And Ben's clientele are all professional athletes. When you walk in the gym, the entire periphery of the gym, which is the size of a hockey rink, has nothing but the pro athletes' jerseys all the way around the periphery. There's hundreds of them in there. And he had taken Hayden's jersey and framed it and made it the first jersey you see when you walk in. And I didn't know that they had done that, he and Ashley, his wife and partner. So I went over there like 6 months later because I had just heard that he did that. It was the first time I had walked back in the gym and I saw it on the wall. It was incredible. And Ben came to me and said, he was like, dude, we got to do a game. We got to do something. So he was the one who was like, we got to do a game. I was like, okay, well, we could try and do a game. And then at the third kind of leg to the stool was Gary Zegras, who's Trevor Zegras' father. He runs the youth program, one of the many things he does, but he runs the youth program that Trevor came up through Spencer Knight, and that was where my son was as well. And he was like, look, whenever you're ready to do something, we want to be involved too. And just like that, it started to build momentum. And that must have been in maybe March of 23. And we were like, okay, well then let's do a charity game and launch it at Terry Connors and let's call it the Shoulder Check Showcase. And everybody was like, okay, cool, let's do that. And Ben went to all the guys that were in the gym and they were like, hey, we're going to do this game. You guys in? And they were like, yeah, we're in. And literally just like that. And Trevor, and he shared it with his teammates and they're like, hey, we're doing this game. It was just this thing that happened. And then we put it out into the community on less than a month's notice. Hey, there's this game that's happening over there. And 2,500 people came out for it. And it was incredible. And it was one of those things where we didn't know what we didn't know, and thank goodness, because we weren't permitted properly and it almost got shut down and all that kind of stuff happened. But we just kind of everybody just went for it. It was amazing. And I think because it was it was part cathartic too at that time, right? So this was a year after my son had passed. So many people that were there were one degree connected to Hayden's story and the impact that it had. Right down to the youth. We had my son was a 2006 born hockey player. So the undercard, so to speak, was a game played by all of his former teammates. And it was played at maximum intensity because these kids, they were just so there for it. And then the pros came out and played. And we have this moment where we ask everybody to put hands on each other's shoulders and do a repeat after me. I promise to reach out, check in, and make contact. And that was the real thing that we did it for, to demonstrate that. And it was palpable. So so it's gone since then, people, we're still naive enough to think a good idea will find the support and traction that it needs and deserves in the world. And, we're smart enough and professionals and know how to make sure we're doing it responsibly. And, but ultimately it is still just people seeing the value of a good idea and helping move it forward. Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, it's okay.
No, it's a phenomenal answer. I mean, to take the hardest thing in your life that any parent could ever go through and to turn it into something positive to help the world, because you don't know who you're affecting and who you're helping. That's an unbelievable thing, and the world needs more people like yourself that find ways to reach out to others. It's not always easy to do. You It's easy to shut down, close yourself off and say, "Yeah, I suffered, nothing I can do about it." Shut the door, go to work, come home, have dinner, but no, you went out, you're trying to make a difference, and I have nothing but respect for that, and I appreciate it, you know, because we all go through stuff and nobody knows, until you actually do what you say. Stop, check in, reach out, and find out what's happening. And
Mhm.
hopefully, people can share and, find a way to connect with someone. Now, who's going to be at the game on the 30th?
Yeah, so this year we're just about to share our final roster. I think we got 26 guys, 24 men, 2 women coming to play for the PWHL. We're really lucky. A lot of the guys that have been with us from year one are still with us. So we're anchored here in and around Fairfield County, Connecticut, and that's where the gym is, and that's where some of these guys live. So Chris Kreider and Trevor Zegras have been kind of two of our biggest champions from day one, and they'll be back, and it's awesome. Like the Flyers have been super supportive. Gritty will be on his way up here, so that's pretty cool too. He'll be joining us, and now as we go, the different teams, we got a lot of Rangers. Excuse me, that'll be with us. Adam Fox has been with us every year. Matt Rempe, JT Miller, Pavel Dorofeyev, obviously newest Ranger now, but he trains in the area, so he'll be with us.
Have you had Keandre Miller, Stanley Cup champion of the best team in the league, the Carolina Hurricanes, at your event, former New York Ranger?
Shane Gostisbehere every year with us.
Ghost. Yeah, yep. I love Ghost.
100%. Yep. So he'll be there. He's been with us every year. He matter of fact, he had his day with the cup that was in all the papers up here just last week. Cool. Yep, this is amazing. So he's been there. You could see Brett Pesce's with us.
I love Brett Pesce. He's a great guy.
Incredible, great guy. Right? Another Kane. Yep. Yeah. Now the Devils. He's incredible. Spencer Knight's been with us every year. We've had Jonathan Quick used to be with us, but now he's hung him up. So Alex Lyon's gonna tend the other net, which is awesome. Matty Beniers, Will Smith, so many guys. And we got Maddie Semiskevich and Jules Constantinople. They both play for Vancouver in the PWHL. They'll be with us. So it goes, right? Like it's pretty awesome.
I have to say the hockey community is phenomenal with that. And I love the fact that all of the guys are giving their time up. It's their off season, and one day, couple hours for somebody that could be them. It could have been any of them. Because everybody has struggles. And they're taking the time to travel to go to Connecticut and appear. That says a lot about the community itself.
It does. We still got like 3 or 4 guys. Obviously Kreider's there now. Trevor was there, but Mason McTavish, Cutter Gauthier, like they're come, from the Ducks. And what's awesome there is now we've touched a lot of clubs, and now the clubs, are helping us share the message. Like we do a night with the Bruins, we do a night with the Devils, we do a night with the Capitals every year. It was Sonny Malone, now it's Ryan Leonard that's with us. So that's, just another way it continues to grow. And here this year we'll hopefully arm each one of the guys with some tools so they can go back and share it with the team, and if them seeing that happen there at the highest level, right, the highest level of the game, but then obviously we do all that so that we can make the biggest impact at the grassroots level. And that's the other thing that's happened for us this year. So like we have, as we grow, catch people's attention, like we have an organization called Be the People that's supporting us this year. And their whole purpose is they get behind orgs like ours, not to build their brand, but to help us build ours, because they're about finding people who are working at the community level to kind of bring change, to be the people that make a positive impact. And it's awesome. So they're with us this year. And, like I said, Sacred Heart's behind us this year. But then the goal is that so hopefully all the teenagers, young adults, and even little kids can see this idea, bring it to their teams and clubs. I think we did about, over the last calendar year, or since our year kind of runs the same year as like a school year, or a hockey season is kind of
Okay.
the way our year works, given when
Yeah.
this is. And I think we touched 200 different organizations last year in the
Wow.
last season. And, some of those orgs have 20 youth teams within it. We've talked at colleges, we've talked at schools, like, and it's all because we have the chance to like kind of have a spotlight now. And then we get to go to work the rest of the year to support people bringing the idea to life at the grassroots level.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, the more people you can get the message out to on, every level. I mean, obviously having the the game on television going to put a lot of eyes on the organization and the message, which is great. But the work doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
You have to go to the schools, to the clubs, and just get as many people to understand because it's not a message that I think ever needs to stop being put out there.
Mhm.
Because people have problems from day one till the day that we're no longer here. And nobody knows what anybody else is going through unless we try to reach out. And it's such a great thing.
That was
That
kind of our
yeah,
thought, was to pay that off. Like we noticed we wanted to, the thing that we're trying to build, we want it to be additive to the conversation, right? Like, and we noticed that like there's good stuff out there working to break down stigmas that says that say things like it's okay to not be okay, or you are not alone. And what we thought was, it's still kind of putting the onus or burden or responsibility on the person who needs a hand to raise their hand, right? Like it's the hardest thing to
Yeah.
do. It's a cliche. I said, I'm sure you know it. The three hardest words to say in any language aren't "I love you." It's "I need help." So our thought was like, if we could just complete the sentence, "You are not alone," by giving everybody a role and saying, "Because I'm right here beside you," we could just enlist everybody into the conversation to create space to let people be a little more vulnerable. And I know, like you referenced before, JB, when you said like you used to work with an organization that was about like getting, middle-aged men coming together. Like I find myself invited to like some of these conversations that are happening now. And maybe I didn't know they were happening before, but now like getting together with a group of guys, sometimes who barely know one another, with the intention being to have like real conversation. And that's not stuff that it's not a space I've ever been in my entire life before, but I see those kinds of things happening now. And I suppose that's just like that they're happening means that like it's making a difference for people, right?
Have you ever thought that that your son has had this giant impact on, and it just continues to grow and touch different people, and maybe, we don't know, but maybe save other people's lives. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool that even though it's obviously, like JB said, a horrible tragedy, it's something, like silver lining. He's able to touch all these people and continue to touch people, and then you never know whose life he might impact, and possibly save. So, like, I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of the way I think is like,
Yeah.
you never know what somebody could do, and so your son's touching a lot of people, putting his hand on a lot of people's shoulders, and I think that's kind of cool, to think of it that way.
Yeah. No, definitely. That resonates with me for sure. This idea is like kind of a figurative hand on our shoulders, right? And it is a way that I think that's what's interesting about it, right? Like you can know what the shoulder check idea is just by saying it's about checking in. And then you could also know where it comes from. And then you could know that it comes from a person who was the guy who checked in. And, obviously that's where it lives for me. And it was one of the stranger dynamics of it all, right? Like this is sometimes a way where I get to still tell everybody who Hayden was.
Mhm.
He's an amazing young man. And now we have this amazing idea because of who he was when he was with us.
That's phenomenal. And I think part of it stems from, at least when I was growing up, and I'm sure you as well, when you played sports, it was, tough it up, man it out,
Yeah.
you'll be okay. And as men, we get into that. I just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about it. I go through that now. My wife tells me all the time,
I know that
"What's
all too
wrong?"
well.
I'm fine,
Yep.
nothing. I'll be okay. No, there's
Yeah.
something wrong. No, I'm fine. I mean, so it's difficult to open up sometimes, and I think that's part of just how life is structured. Have you noticed that when you do the demonstration and the talk that sometimes you get that backlash from men?
I mean, I recognize it now. So I think more and more. So one, I recognize what you say just in myself. Like even in the immediate aftermath, people reach out to me, be like, "Hey, you doing okay?" And I just write back like, "Yeah, no, I'm doing okay." Obviously, I'm not doing okay. And even in the worst of it, you know what I mean? You're just like
Yeah.
pre-programmed to say that. But I do see more and more now. Like I would say there's maybe been like not even a handful of guys along the way in the last 4 years of doing this now where someone was like, "Yeah, that's cool, but it's not for me." Like, there's been maybe 1 or 2 people who felt that way, and I
Yeah.
think then I've thought about that a lot too, like, how could that be? And I think, look, there's 9 billion people on the planet. There's gonna just by numbers, there's gonna be a couple people who run it tape to tape and never get their bubble burst, right? And they'll get to carry whatever narrative that we all know isn't really true, but they get to be possessed of their own self narrative and think they did it themselves with nobody else's help and all the rest,
Yeah.
right? And like, okay, good on you, like hat tip. You shot the gauntlet. But like for everybody else, I think there's no one in the world who hasn't felt, except for maybe these 8 people out of 9 billion. You know what I mean? Like who haven't at some time felt like just needing something or needing someone or feeling like they were carrying something they didn't know how to put down. So when we started with this, like I've had conversations with like really hard dudes who will, like fighters in the league in the 70s, for example, and or like coaches of some of the D1 schools, and we start a conversation on this, and all of a sudden they'll share a story. I never forget it. One guy turned, he's like, I'll be honest with you, I've never shared that story with anyone else in my entire
Wow.
life. And these were like, some of the toughest dudes around.
Yeah.
And just seeing that we created this simple idea that people felt like they had like a little space to be vulnerable, they stepped into it. So that's kind of what I see more often is just like, and of course, like to start this dialogue, usually I or somebody else has to start it, and you're kind of putting yourself in a little bit of a vulnerable place as well, just by virtue of talking about what it is. So maybe that's a little disarming. I don't know, but I have found more often than not when we step into the space, like usually most other people step right into it too. And even people that I've known all my life will then tell you something that you never would have known about them because they just didn't feel like it was the right thing to share. Like I see that more than I ever could have imagined.
That's great because that's really what it's about. If we can open up and, people experience the same issues. We may react to them differently. It may hit someone harder, but we all pretty much go through the same things in life.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you can share with someone, it helps if they're close to you. But sometimes you don't want to talk to someone who's close to you. You want to talk
Yeah.
to an acquaintance or maybe someone you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just great to have that opportunity. So now this game's at Sacred Heart. How many seats does the arena hold?
Yeah, so the arena holds up to I think like 3,500 people. Um, we're gonna use the lower bowl and then a couple of upstairs bits, so we should about 2,500 people in there because we didn't use like the standing room concourse section. And we're
Wow.
pretty close to on our way to being sold out now, which is great because this is the first time we've been in this building. So that'll be incredible. And in addition to the game, we have like this whole kind of midway activation that happens out front. Like, so that is like 4 to 6 o'clock outside. We have like, there's a band called the Zambonis that'll be playing. They're awesome. We've got the beer garden. We've got the food. We've got the games for the kids to play, the hardest shot, that kind of stuff. We've got all of our activations where you can learn more about the shoulder check and our team kits that we have now, which are awesome that people can bring. We call it rep the blue, like this is our blue color. And we have laces for hockey laces from Howie's. We got stick tape from Howie's. We have regular laces, like lots of ways for people to kind of badge it, right? Like a kid can
Yeah.
bring it to their team. Anyway, so we do all that stuff, and then the game itself goes from 6 to 8, where we have a little bit of a ceremony, and then the guys play the game, and that'll be incredible. That'll be what's on the NHL Network from 6 to 8 o'clock on Thursday. And we're really
That's
looking
awesome.
forward to it. It should be like the thing about it is like just being like kind and being empathetic is like awesome and uplifting. And that's the spirit of the day. Like it should just be an awesome time and people should leave feeling like, man, that was incredible. We just had this like bit of community together and these amazing NHL athletes came out and signed autographs and were a part of that community with us. Like you should see, it's in our website, just all the photos of like the pro players being out there with the kids and the smiles on people's faces. Like it's awesome. And I think those guys feel the lift from it as well. I think, they know the power that they have and the impact that they have as role models, and they're just out there being in the mix. Like it's incredible.
Man, Rob, next year we're gonna be there. We gotta be there because I feel you're like my spirit animal, man. I'm the same way as you. I'm empathetic. I'm all about trying to show people kindness at work and wherever, just because like I feel same way JB said. You don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know what's in their head. I think a lot in my own head. So like you don't know what that person you're working next to or whoever is going through. You don't know if holding the door for them or just saying a kind word, what that can do, the seed you can plant with them positively. You don't know what that can do. So, you sound just like me when you say empathetic and all that. I'm the same exact way. We got to meet next year.
Well, let's do it.
Got to be at this event because I would love to meet you, hang out with you. You seem like an amazing guy.
Well, awesome of you to say, and likewise, but we'll 100% do it. We'll make sure that happens.
All right.
So, Rob, what's the website where people can go find out more and get involved? Because if you're watching, this is something you want to be involved in because this affects us all. Let's make this the important thing till everyone has someone to check in with until we all are okay because we're all going through things.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yes, 100%. So we're shouldercheck.org is the site. Right now, the homepage is pretty much dedicated to like grab tickets, but we got these great sections on there called Get Inspired and Get Involved. So you can go in those pages and you can see like the toolkits that we have, the team kits that we have, and lots of other examples of how other people are doing it. And then we're at The Shoulder Check on Instagram, and that's where we kind of chronicle everything that we're up to. And like I say, right now it's pretty heavy on what's happening at the game, but as you give it a good scroll, you'll see all the different folks that have been involved and how they've brought, the program to life. And ultimately my job now, this is what I do full time. And, I say all the time, like steal this idea. Like if anyone thinks that it could add value in any context, then it's our job as Shoulder Check to help that person, that club, team, community, whatever, bring the idea to life in the way that makes the most impact for them. So, I think about it a little bit like kind of Susan G. Komen or even Movember, right? Where they got this signature color and they bring awareness to an issue, but then they create this idea that everybody can express in their own way. Like think about how many different ways people express pink. And that's kind of like a North Star, so to speak, for us with what we're trying to do here is just to give people an idea that they can take and make their own and we'll help them grow it.
That's awesome. If you could send us anything, have Sierra send it if you want us to put something on the website.
Yeah, awesome. We'll do.
Love to support you. Put it on our site, everything we can.
Yeah, we love
I'll write things down immediately because if I don't, I forget them.
So believe me, I understand. Especially
when executive
everything
function is not what it once was.
I'm sure with everything going on right now, I'm sure you're busy with 8 million things. If you're not writing it down, you definitely not remember. Yeah. Anything you want us to post, we're more than happy to. Any way to get the word out, share our social media, anything we can do to help because this is a phenomenal cause.
Awesome. Can't say thank you enough, honestly, and I can't wait to do it again and see you guys talk more.
Definitely, Rob. Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Enjoy the 30th. I know you're looking forward to it. It's going to be on the NHL Network, the Shoulder Check Classic, it's going to be exciting. I wish we were going to be there, John.
Yeah,
I'll report back.
All right, Rob. All right, thank you again, man. Have a great night.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, John. That was a pretty amazing interview.
All right. Well, let's go to commercial. Give me a chance to my computer's a little bit lower than I thought it was going to be. So let's go to commercial. Give me a little bit of time to not get kicked off the show by my own computer.
We actually don't have a commercial just yet.
Oh my gosh, Chase! Seriously, you come in with bad news. We have such a great interview. Then you come in with bad news.
Didn't have anything. Then
Oh, my
loaded.
Goodness gracious.
So
John, take yourself off a second and just come right back in.
All right.
we can sing a
We-
song. You know, I mean,
We'll talk. We'll talk about John for a minute. What he
Sing the whole time I'm off the camera.
no.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well.
that was quite delayed. I don't know, guys. We switched to a new system, and let me tell you, being on live, I hope it clears up if you watch the replay. There's definitely some bugs in it. We're working it out. We'll talk about John for a minute. Well,
Yeah.
Jay, what is that feedback?
No, I wasn't. I was. So I was trying to play it on like YouTube to make sure I'm coming in. Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, don't do that again because that's horrible.
I know. It's just I'm paranoid, man, because like
Jay, I can tell you.
we're on a new system. We're trying to work out the kinks and everything like that. That was my bad. I was going on YouTube and make sure I was good. So John.
Denzel Snipes try to give me a heart condition. Let's get to quick hits because we gotta move along because LeBron James is going to be taking the helicopter. We got to talk about that. Number one.
All right.
Carlos Beltran, Jeff Kent, Andrew Jones honored in Cooperstown this past Sunday. Deserve it. John, with that reaction, steal my answer. Please do.
Oh, how the hell is Carlos Beltran in the Hall of Fame? Jeff Kent, one of the greatest second basemen we've ever seen. So Jeff Kent deserves it. Andrew Jones, you could go either way. You could make an argument either way. I feel like Andrew Jones, what he did with the Braves, was Hall of Fame worthy. He was, I believe, 9 or 10 Gold Gloves, one of the most highest amounts in the history of the game. One of the best defensive center fielders to ever play the game. Maybe the best. With all the Gold Gloves, he's up there. And then the bat was amazing. So Andrew Jones to me belongs. You can make a little bit of a case that he doesn't, but I think he belongs. Jeff Kent definitely belongs. One of the best second basemen hitting wise we've ever seen. But Carlos Beltran, like really, we're putting Carlos Beltran in the Hall of Fame. I mean, this is the equivalent of Scott Rowland when we covered the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. And Scott Rowland got put in the Hall of Fame. Like Scott Rowland was a really good player, great defensive player, but he was an okay bat. I don't understand how anybody thought that guy gets in the Hall of Fame. Like, these Hall of Fames are just given like okay, good, really good players like in that ballpark. I mean, we saw Harold Baines getting put in the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. Harold Baines isn't a Hall of Famer. Like, what has he ever done in his life that's Hall of Fame worthy? Like, he was a really good player, but he wasn't a great player. He was never like a top 5, top 10 player. Never even sniffed it. Harold Baked Beans. Like, so
You just called him Harold Baked Bean.
Harold Baked Beans. Like,
on that note, I'm sliding out of the show.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, your response.
All right, go on.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna name 4 men here. Okay. Willie Mays, the kid King Griffey Jr., Mike Schmidt, and Andrew Jones. These are the only 4 men in history to have at least 10 Gold Gloves
Bingo.
and at least 400 home runs in their career.
Yeah,
Andrew Jones is also the youngest player to hit a home run in a postseason game, and he did it in the World Series. He was 19 years old.
Yep.
I honestly, John, think he was a bit overdue for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think you can make a little bit of a case if you weren't for him, because some of his stats, like average wise, weren't the best. But overall, I think his resume way better than Carlos Beltran, way better than Scott Rowland.
Would
way
you
better
put him in the
than
Hall of
Baked
Fame before
Beans.
Harold Baines?
Way better than Baked Beans, So I mean, Andrew Jones, yeah, I agree. He's, easily a Hall of Famer.
All right. Anything else, Jay?
Oh, you got it, man.
All right. So, listen, I have no issue with Andrew Jones being in. As Jay said, 10-time Gold Glove winner. One of the best defensive center fielders of all time. Phenomenal. Over 400 home runs. No issues. Jeff Kent never moved the needle for me. Don't like him. Never did.
He's a second baseman with 377 home runs. Second basemen don't hit that many home runs.
Yeah. I
And a
don't like him.
290 average. That's pretty good.
That's pretty
290 now would be all-star, all-world. So
And he
yeah,
had 2,400 plus hits. That I would say it's pretty good.
2,400 hits.
Yeah.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead and slide him in there, JB. I mean, Jeff Key, he's all right.
He's a second baseman. Second baseman don't hit nearly 400
Yeah.
home runs.
Yeah, listen, he doesn't move the needle for me. I'm not feeling it, but whatever. I can live with that. Carlos Beltran.
Hold on, JB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons of 100 or more RBIs for a second baseman. That's hard to do as a second baseman. You don't see that.
At a
Like-
career 290? Come on,
Yeah.
JB.
Yeah, I'm voting no on this one.
Oh, you
Carlos
got to be-
Beltran. Carlos Beltran. Listen, we need to tear up the whole Hall of Fame, burn it down, take it out, move it to Czechoslovakia. Because why is Carlos Beltran in there and we still don't have Barry Bonds in there?
I would rather have Scott Rowland, JB.
Yeah, I don't get the whole Carlos Beltran thing. I'm not feeling that one. I don't like it. I'll give you a couple of names. They're controversial. Kurt Schilling.
Okay.
Why is he not in there if we're going to have Carlos Beltran in there?
I think the Rocket should be in. I think
And-
the Rocket should be in.
And by the way,
I
Jeff
think-
Kent has the most home runs for a second
John,
baseman
hang
in
on,
the
hang
history
on,
of the
hang
game.
on.
In the
We're on
history of the
Carlos
game,
Beltran.
JB.
We're on Carlos Beltran.
I'm just
right now.
saying.
I don't have to like your guy. You don't like Pujols.
But
I
most
don't
home
like
runs by a
Kent.
second baseman in the history of baseball.
Judd, don't like him. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Roger Clemens, totally dislike the guy. He threw a bat at Mike Piazza. I'm not a Met fan. I'm a Yankee fan. He belongs in the Hall of Fame.
B squared should be in the Hall.
Barry Bonds,
B
the
squared.
greatest player of our lifetime before Ohtani, and arguably the greatest player of our lifetime. Not in the Hall of Fame.
Charlie
Pete
Hustle.
Rose. Pete Rose, the all-time hit leader, not in the Hall of Fame. Don
Harold Baines
Mattingly.
is.
Don Mattingly, a
Harold Baked
controversial one.
Beans.
Bob Costas went out over the weekend and said, why is Don Mattingly not in the Hall of Fame? Love Bob Costas. And I agree. Donnie Baseball belongs in the Hall of Fame. Carlos Beltran, I just gave you 5 people that belong to be in the Hall of Fame before you. Not feeling it. Number 2.
Number 2.
Should WNBA lower the basket goal to 9 feet? I feel like we're on Sesame Street right now. Should they use a tennis ball?
Basketball
Hear me
goal.
out.
What?
Hear me out.
Who worded this?
Hear me out on this one, okay? I really, really, really do not mean any harm. But if we are in the context of there needs to be more excitement in the WNBA, well, what's exciting on the other side? The dunks, right? Well, this will compensate for, I guess the typical height, you know what I mean? Think about it, Johnny boy. Don't they play with a smaller ball to compensate for their hands? So why not lower it to 9 feet? Show some women getting dunked on and you'll get more ratings.
Lower it to 8 feet then. Lower it to 8 feet.
5 foot 3 inches. I mean, what next?
would they dunk? Would they dunk if you if you lowered to like 7 feet? Would they still dunk or would they just?
Even better idea.
I feel like Angel Reese would still miss shots just to get her own rebound.
Even better idea, John. Let's give them yellow jerseys, write bananas across it, have one of them on stilts go up and down. One of them could be have flames. They can have crazy dribble up music. Oh, wait, we have a baseball team that does that.
I want to share with the people watching and listening that a Bucci's manager in Houston can make $275,000 a year for
Buc-ee's?
their max. But I call it Bucci's. The lowest minimum salary for a WNBA player is $270,000. There is a world, in this world, where a Bucci's manager can make more than a WNBA player. That blew my mind when I saw that the other day.
For those
that is
watching at home,
craziest stat.
that is Buc-ee's, one of the Grail gas stations.
I've never been.
Either have I, but it's a Grail gas station. Everybody's heard of it. So you could be a manager at Buc-ee's and make more than the league minimum in the WNBA. It's a problem with that.
But you know what? You guys have got to go whenever you're in the South or anything like that here in Texas. Now, Buc-ee's is a staple, Hey, I've been to now, JB, you were there, okay? I can say I've been to Wawa's. I can say I've been to Sheetz, These are the staple gas stations of the region. Every region has one, and in Texas, it happens to be Buc-ee's. So yeah, there's a reason why it's very famous on the internet.
I heard you wait like 45 minutes to get gas.
No, you don't.
Like 30 to 45
No,
minutes. Is what I heard.
dude. On the busiest Sunday when they're playing Little
That's
League
what I
ball,
heard. I've never been.
No, it's not 45 minutes.
I heard it's crazy. Like it's always
So-
packed.
Getting back to this lowering the basket goal, whatever a basket goal is. Can we get a
It
rule
says
interpretation
basketball
of the?
goal. It says basketball goal where I'm sitting at.
Wow, what's a basketball goal? You mean the rim?
Oh, the rim, basketball goal, whatever.
It-
Should it
were
be
you trying to-
lowered?
Were you trying to use big verbiage, Jay?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, I like it. I like the attempt, but basketball
Yeah,
goal.
I want to see what the Bucci's is like up here in the east. Like, can't they have it like up near Pennsylvania or
Maybe I don't
Maryland
know.
or New York or
No,
something?
you got Sheets and Wawa.
Yeah, we don't need Wawa. I don't acknowledge Wawa. Only
You don't e-
Sheets.
Wawa's good.
Sheets is a Pennsylvania. Sheets is all about Pennsylvania. Is all about Sheets. We don't.
I prefer Sheets, but Wawa's good. All right, number 3.
Oh, hang on a second. Tasha's mad about
Thank you,
that.
Tasha. Tasha, tell us about the basketball goal, Tasha. Have you ever heard such wording?
That's what we called it coming up. All right, number 3.
Number 3. Should Marvel and DC comic films be its own category, i.e., not compared to any other films?
Now, let me give a little bit of context here, okay? Because
Yeah,
as my
I need
friend John
context.
said up there, context matters. So, typically, the highest selling films of any given year are Marvel films or DC films, unless it's a Star Wars, a Harry Potter, or a Lord of the Rings, or something like that, right? So people tend to say, like, oh, okay, well, how does, I don't know, the Wolverine compare to like Die Hard, or how does Captain America compare to the? If they're the highest selling films, it's kind of not fair to compare them to like other film genres. So it should be its own entity instead of saying like, okay, like John, if I was to say, hey, name your like 5 greatest movies, and all 5 of them were Marvel movies, well, it's kind of not fair. So instead,
Why
we
is
should
it
say
not fair? How's it
Well,
not fair?
because they're the highest selling films. It should be
So?
okay. What are your top 5 Marvel films, and what are like your top 5? Just like I don't know.
Are you
any
gonna
other
do
film,
the same with
action or
music?
whatever.
Are you going to do the same with music? Like, and
Actually, you
just discount
can.
like Elvis or the Beatles or somebody like that? You just get discount them because they're better than everybody else? No.
Well,
That's not
I
how
mean,
it works.
as far
Oh, you
as
know
hip
what?
hop
We're going
goes,
to take our top 5 running backs out of the equation. They don't count NFL history because they're better than everybody else. You know what? We just don't count everybody in there. You know what, Emmett Smith? You get to move up into the top 5 because the other 5 don't.
But he is
count.
top 5. What do you
He's not
think?
top 5.
But he is top
Emmett
5.
Smith's
He's
not
the
a
leader
top
of rushing
5
history.
back.
Listen,
JB, what you got
after James Brown, Barry Sanders,
Jim Brown, you mean? Well,
James Brown.
Jim Brown. After hearing butt cheese or whatever. John
basketball
said.
goal, James Brown.
This reminds me of a trip through Pennsylvania with Denzel. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway,
You got your
Jim
Browns
Brown.
mixed up.
we were not.
Jim Brown, Walter Payton, and Barry Sanders. Nobody else matters. That's it.
Whoa,
Those are your
whoa,
three.
LT exists.
Those
Adrian
are your 3.
Peterson exists.
Those are your 3. Everybody else is on a tier
LT
way below.
is right there with what he did right there with Barry Sanders.
No
right
way.
there. Adrian
No way.
Peterson is right there.
No way. When
Yeah.
Barry played, it was must-see TV.
So was LT and
No.
Adrian Peterson.
I never turned on a game to watch one of them. If Barry was on, I
I
was
mean, that's
glued to
because
the
you're
TV.
crazy.
Barry
I
was
always
the-
turn on games to watch LT. How could you not? What he did with the Chargers? That was
Poor John.
crazy.
Poor John doesn't understand football. It's
John,
a
what was it?
shame.
26 touchdowns in 06? Number
Yeah,
one
like
seed in the
that-
AFC?
I mean, look what
Most
LT
valuable
did.
player?
He's one of the most humble guys you'll
LT's
ever
a-
meet.
One of the greatest people of all time. Not questioning that.
I need
The
The
JB.
like-
Chargers, LT. The
I need
let
JB
me
Steeler
clarify.
to hit me
Yeah,
up
let's
ASAP.
clarify, JB. Let's
I need-
clarify. Thank you
I need
so
JB
much.
Steeler to hit me up ASAP.
Woo!
He owned
Ooh,
one
that was
tonight.
scary.
Listen, we're
Good
clearing
catch.
we're clearing it up that it's the Chargers LT, just to be
There you
sure,
go. Thank you.
because we got to make sure there's a couple of LTs. But
Some ain't so good.
clearly number 4. Which is an honor, but
Yeah.
Barry did it first.
Yeah, he did it first, but I mean, LT was pretty damn good.
Bo, if Bo didn't get hurt, Bo would have been up there. Bo
If-
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that's an unfortunate F. All right. Anyone else have anything to add to number 3, whatever it was? Was JB the greatest host of Sideline Sports history? And the answer is yes.
Oh,
Barry.
I got it.
He's the damn
Oh, we're
truth.
going to the LeBron James thing. All right.
What do you
I
got,
a
Chuck?
comment.
Come on, make
I got
it
a
quick.
comment.
Make it quick.
No, we're going to LeBron James. It's got to tie in with Emmitt Smith. I'll add it in once we get to LeBron.
Okay.
All right.
So LeBron James took $4 million per year with a second-year option for his 24th season to play in Philadelphia. Then it comes out over the last couple of days, and this has been done before. His former coach did it, JJ Redick, who's also probably younger than him, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
He lived in Brooklyn while he played in Philadelphia. And I used to think it was crazy, and I used to listen to JJ's podcast. So the rumor is LeBron is looking for an apartment in Manhattan and is going to helicopter between Philly and New York.
Like Kobe used to do. Come on, man.
I mean,
He's always
I
got to
just-
copy MJ or Kobe. He always has to.
first of all, he took $4 million a year. He was making how much last year? Somebody got that number?
52 million.
52 million.
The Lakers offered him 48 to come back.
The Lakers offered him more. The Heat, I am sure, offered him more.
Oh yeah.
And the Heat have Giannis on that team.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that Philly doesn't have a good squad, but Giannis is one of the best players in the league. With LeBron, that would have been a tough team to beat. It'd have been better than what they have in Philadelphia, because Embiid can't stay healthy.
That's the thing people don't understand, and they're getting all excited. Wait until them knees go out from under him. And then what do you have? A 47-year-old LeBron James, a blown out knee, Embiid. Edgecombe is a solid player. I'm not going to say he's a bad player, but he hasn't developed yet into a great player. So you have a solid player there. And Maxi's pretty good and Brown's pretty good. So can LeBron and Embiid hold up? That's a big question.
We know Embiid can. He's proven he can. So Giannis, who's been pretty healthy except for the last couple of years, why wouldn't you want to go play with him in Miami?
He's a ring chaser. He thinks the best chance to win a ring.
He thinks the best
Philly.
chance is with Embiid, who won't be on the court. Brown, who is not, I don't know, not the
Apparently
guy.
Brown don't move the needle for you neither.
Well, then I read somewhere, this was a funny one. Brown said a couple of years ago that Bronny's not an NBA star or an NBA player. So
I remember that.
There were rumors that LeBron signed with Philly to get Bronny there and just to go off on Brown. I don't think that's the case. But if it is, that's the craziest flex I've ever seen.
It's petty.
He does seem pretty petty.
He'd be definitely the king of petty for that. I mean,
so
go ahead.
Go on, Jay.
If you signed for $4 million to play in Philly, and yes, New York to Philly by car is only an hour 45 minutes, by helicopters 30 minutes. Would you bother doing that? Wouldn't you just live somewhere in South Jersey or the suburbs of Philly if you don't want to live in the city?
I don't know why
he's LeBron. He can live wherever he wants, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess he's kind of got the means to travel back and forth. The man could live in Connecticut or Maine.
Well, maybe not, because he's only making $4 million this year. So maybe he doesn't.
Well, it's not like he's got only $4 million in the bank. I mean, like all the business. He's like the first or second, had billionaire net worth in basketball. But I mean, LeBron. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I don't see what's wrong with living in Philly, but he wants to live in New York. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
But Jay, there are some amazing suburbs of Philadelphia. If you don't want to live in the city, and I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, there are really nice parts of Philadelphia. There are parts that are I wouldn't go in if you paid me. But there were really nice parts. But if you don't want to live in the city of Philadelphia, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, one of the best suburbs in America.
Typically, athletes and celebs live in the suburbs anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, they
Unless
they
they're
stay in the
young.
suburbs anyway.
Unless they're young, they usually live in the suburbs. And LeBron doesn't qualify as young.
I just don't buy I don't buy this because like if you're making 52 million a year and somebody's like, "Whoa, he took less so that he could win a ring." I don't believe that. I believe that he knows that he doesn't have much left in the tank, and that's why he got 4 million. Because nobody was going to pay him 52 million, to be the third or fourth option on a team. Like nobody's paying you $52 million. I don't care if you're LeBron James or not. At some point, your body ages and you're not the same guy. You don't have the same speed or stamina. And that's why I think he only got $4 million a year because Philly knew, hey, we got the leverage on you. Where else are you going to go? Because,
John.
I mean, like, if Philly had the leverage, we're the only one you want to go to that can win a ring. So you're going to take less money. So I think it looks like he took less to be heroic, but I think really everybody knew he's 400 years old. He could barely move. And you're not going to have him really for the regular season. You're going to save him and Embiid for the playoffs. You have to. If you play both of them 70-plus games, you're not going to have a shot in the playoffs because neither of them is going to be available. You're not going to get the best of either player.
So, John, imagine now when they get Bronny, right? How would they figure out how to do that? And JJ Redick.
It's not going to be much. Believe me, JB, it really doesn't cost much.
Wait up.
It's like asking for a ham sandwich. I'm not going to charge you much.
And JJ Redick becomes the coach of the Sixers. They can all commute by helicopter together.
Hey, Nick Nurse is a nice coach. He won a championship with Toronto. But
JJ's LeBron's guy, and he was the one that started the commuting from Brooklyn to Philly.
Well, LeBron wants me to have the coach he wants.
Just imagine those helicopter rides.
He wants. Like, get out of here.
Just imagine the helicopter rides. Little Bronny sitting on LeBron's lap, learning how to play basketball. JJ teaching them both how to shoot the three. Just imagine how great of a helicopter ride that's going to be.
I just got to say this about LeBron James, and we were talking about Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith's the record holder for rushing yards. Emmitt Smith's not the greatest running back of all time. LeBron James is the Emmitt Smith of the NBA.
John Shear bringing the fire. That was your best. That was your best comment of all time.
He has some championships, yes. But he also was with some great players. And remember, Emmitt Smith was with some great players in Dallas.
Emmitt Smith had the greatest line in NFL.
The greatest line ever. Hall of Famer Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer Michael Irvin. So other great players on those teams. One of the great coaches of all time. And I'm not saying he didn't do his part, but he had a lot of great pieces around him. LeBron's had a lot of great pieces around him to help him get those 4 championships. I think LeBron is the Emmitt Smith of the NBA. I thought about that the other day, and I was like, I got to tell JB and J because I can't unsee it now.
That I think is your best comment ever on this show.
You know what?
We've been doing this for years. That's your number one.
And John, I mean, to add to your point, Emmitt Smith has the all-time rushing record. Bron has the all-time scoring record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. LeBron. Emmitt Smith's not a top 5 back, even though he has the stats to prove it. If you watch Emmitt Smith run, he's not on the same level as Jim Brown, not on the same level as Barry Sanders, not on the same level as LT. He's not on the same level as these guys. He's just not one of the top 5 backs. He's top 10.
What if we moved the goal line touchdown pylon 10 yards shorter?
I mean, he what did he do? What did Emmitt Smith do at the end of his career? He started chasing teams. He started going to places he shouldn't have gone. You remember that? He went to Arizona. He said he felt like he was a diamond surrounded by trash. I don't know if you remember that famous quote, but he never should have went to Arizona.
I mean, the Arizona State Sun Devils were better than the Cardinals.
I don't know why.
Who was second for the Cardinals?
Smith went to the Cardinals.
I try and forget all-time greats that go to these weird teams and don't do anything because it just tarnishes their legacy.
Like
So
when
I
Randy Johnson went to the Yankees, it was so weird.
just odd. It's just very weird. I don't like it. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for tonight. Please check out the Shoulder Check Classic. That'll be July 30th. Go to the website that we gave out earlier, shouldercheck.org. We want to thank Rob for taking the time to come in tonight. LeBron goes to Philly. We're going to lower the basketball goal,
Yes.
not the rim. Jay has decided we're lowering it to 9 feet.
I'm driving
John-
to Bucci's.
John says 5 at Bucci's, and I say take the helicopter. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.